Hello, I'm Don Phipps, Superintendent of the Caldwell County Schools, and I'll be your host today for this segment, or this edition of Caldwell County Schools Profiles. The month is May 2021, and we are wrapping up school activities this month, and we have two salient topics that we wanted to share with you. One is about our technology showcase that happens in the summer, and also what summer school looks like, and then I have a special announcement for you at the end. But to kick things off, I have Susan Walker with us, and Susan is a Professional Development and School Improvement Coordinator, and she's going to be talking with us about the Classroom Innovation and Technology Showcase. Susan, tell us how this got started and how long this has been going on.
Well, the showcase started 3 summers ago, and we really wanted to highlight the innovation that teachers were employing in the classroom. And so we started in summer 2019, face-to-face at High Brighton. And then last summer, we were supposed to be at another school and we went virtual. But this year, we were able to do both virtual and face-to-face sessions.
And one of the goals of this program is for teachers to be exposed to different pieces of technology or platforms or services or whatever you want to call it, and then go back and use that in the classroom. Have we seen that happen?
We have seen that happen. We've had some good implementation of new programs and just practices across the district.
And when we went from year 1 to year 2, we also had presenters in year 2 who were folks that were participants in year 1. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Right, which is a great thing to see. What is the date and location and time?
So this year it will be June 15th, 16th, and 17th. We're running the sessions from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and we will be working out of West Caldwell High School as our hub, and then our face-to-face sessions will be there.
So will it be all face-to-face, or will there be a mixture of that and virtual?
We'll have a mixture of virtual and face-to-face.
And a range of topics would include things such as?
Well, we have some topics on Google application because we still are very heavily into using all the Google products. We have some sessions on Pear Deck and Edpuzzle, some of those platforms that we use across the district, as well as digital practices, digital citizenship for students, and just a wide range of topics.
And a typical segment or session would last how long?
It would last 45 minutes.
Okay.
And some of our face-to-face will last 90 minutes.
And in individuals who may be interested in being presenters, how would they apply to be a presenter?
So they can look through the weekly report, and there's been some links in there to apply to be a presenter. We've also sent it out in email, or they can just email me at swalker@caldwellschools.com.
Is this event open outside of Caldwell County Schools?
At this point, we're just going to allow registration in the county, and then we are using the SHED app, which they may have used in going to other conferences such as NC Ties. So it may become open to others if we have space available.
And then the sponsors for the activity are who?
We are very glad to have the Education Foundation as our sponsor again this year. They will also be paying for prizes each day, so we will have drawings for 5 prizes. That will include an Oculus and ring light and some other really good prizes for teachers.
So remind our viewers again one more time the dates and the times for our educators who may want to participate.
So it is June 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Very good. At West Caldwell High School.
At West Caldwell High School.
Well, thank you for being with me this morning.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. If you'll stick around, we'll be back with another segment. We'll be talking about the summer school this summer in the Caldwell County Schools. Hello and welcome back to our next segment. I have with me now on the set Dr. Lisa Widener, who is the Director of Title I and Elementary Education for the Caldwell County Schools. Welcome.
Thank you.
And our conversation this morning will be about summer school, which we're calling Camp Caldwell. And our viewers are probably aware that we've always had summer school, and we've had students that go from different reading camps and credit recovery. But this year we're dealing with something that's known as House Bill 82. What is different about the summer school that we'll see this year compared to traditional summer school?
Well, this year it's for K-12 students, and typically we have a summer program for K, or first, second, and third grade through Read to Achieve. So this is a much bigger endeavor, and it's open for all students who are eligible for at-risk criteria. And we're going to be having different sites so that the students receive more instruction during the day. The hours are longer. I'm sure you'll talk about that later.
And we've attempted to distribute locations throughout the county to try to make it as easy for folks to have access. What about transportation when we talk about access?
Transportation is being provided. It is just like a regular school year, so if a student needs transportation, they just need to contact the school. The information that we're sending out with the invitations and the applications indicate or give parents an opportunity to indicate if they need bus transportation in the morning, in the afternoon, or both.
And this is a voluntary program, is that correct?
It is.
But the outcomes and the results that we get is data that that principals would use in making promotion decisions and also helping us understand where our students are at as we go back to school in August.
Correct. And we would strongly encourage our third grade students to attend because of the Read to Achieve legislation. This gives them another opportunity for the pathway to proficiency.
And the mandates in terms of number of hours or number of days, what did that look like in the legislation?
In the legislation, it's either 150 hours or it could have been 30 days.
Right. And we're targeting at-risk students, and that criteria was not provided by the state. So schools, we basically as a school district talked about what we were looking at for red flags, for concerns for students, and then we've sent invitation letters out.
Correct.
And we're talking about grades K-12. The summer reading camp that we normally have, is that embedded in this, or will that be going on simultaneously?
It is embedded in it. So a lot of the strategies and routines that we use with summer reading camp, we're just continuing on with our elementary students. They're all getting the benefit of what they would get from summer reading camp. We are exceeding the amount of hours for instruction for Read to Achieve. So we think that's a win-win for our students.
And when the law talks about the impact and effect of COVID, how do we see that? What do we see in the classroom if we were to say describe or define for me what the impact and effect of COVID is when we're looking at a program like our summer school program?
Well, when we're looking at a program like our summer school program, what we see is we have a lot of gaps in learning because of the amount of time that the students were at home or the amount of time that they were able to attend school or unable if they had to be quarantined. We were on an ABB schedule for a while, so there were a lot of inconsistencies in the instruction. And this is going to be an opportunity for us to really zero in and target the gaps that each student might be facing and try our best to catch them up to where they'll be better prepared for the next grade level.
Okay, as we wrap up, let's let our viewers know about the dates, the amount of time that's going to be involved from day to day, and then also locations, if you would.
Okay, so we start June 2nd, which is the very next week after school's out. June 2nd is on a Wednesday, and we'll go 5 days a week until July the 2nd. So that'll get us our total hours of camp. The student hours will be 8 o'clock a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. There will be before and after school care available through wraparound at each one of our sites in elementary. Elementary has 3 sites. Granite Falls is the South Caldwell feeder pattern site. Lower Creek is the site for High Brighton feeder pattern. And Gamewell Elementary School is the site for our West Caldwell feeder pattern. So all the schools that feed into those areas will be going to those different camps. We call it camp because we try to make it a fun atmosphere and a camp-like, so it will be enticing for the students. Our administrators will be overseeing camp. We have Courtney Saunders, who is the camp administrator for Granite Falls Elementary School. We have Dawn Henline, who is going to be the administrator at Lower Creek Elementary School, and Tracy Harris, who is going to be the administrator for Gamewell Elementary School. The middle schools will be having 2 sites. We'll have the Granite Falls Elementary School and Middle School and Hudson Middle School, and they will be at the Hudson Middle School site. William Lenore Middle School is partnering with Gamewell Middle School, and those students will be going to the Gamewell Middle School site.
So who are the site directors at Gamewell Middle and at Hudson Middle?
At Gamewell Middle, the site director is Jennifer Deneen, and at Hudson, it's Bryn McSwain.
And then we have the high school sites.
The high schools are the 3 traditional high schools, and their AP that's over curriculum, I think, is the one that is going to be administrating. Their schedule's a little different, and Dr. McKellen can tell you a little bit more about high school.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing with us and being with us today.
Thank you.
And we've got one more final segment. If you'll come back, we'll finish up our conversation about Camp Caldwell and give you more information. Please join us. Welcome back. We're in our final segment of this edition of Caldwell County Schools Profiles, and I have with me on the set Dr. Katrina McKellen, who is our Assistant Superintendent for Educational Program Services with the Caldwell County Schools. Thank you for joining me, Katrina. I wanted to finish up the conversation that we were having with Dr. Widener on Camp Caldwell. For our viewers, in our earlier segment, we talked about Camp Caldwell being the state-mandated summer school program that we're going to have in the summer of 2021. So we talked about site locations. We talked about the date that it will be offered. I want to go into a little bit more detail. What would the daily schedule look like? And I know that's going to be different for high school versus K-8.
So for our K-2 students, they will be participating in reading, instruction on reading, math, and then we are giving them some enrichment activities in STEM. So they'll have some daily time to do some more hands-on. There will be hands-on instruction throughout camp, but in particular during the STEM sections, they'll get a chance to really be more of that camp experience. For grades 3 through 8, we'll have reading and math, but we'll have additional instruction in science, as well as some enrichment activities related to STEM, to art, to music, to make sure that we're getting a wide range of instruction for our students. And then it looks a little different at the high school level, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. We also will be doing physical activity. We'll certainly be serving breakfast and lunch to all of our students free of charge as part of our summer feeding program that we do every summer. So they'll have an active time to do a lot of different things, but a lot of focus on reading and math with some instruction on science depending on the grade level, but definitely some STEM and some enrichment activities for students as well.
Do we know yet what our class sizes will look like compared to the number of teachers that we have, or are we waiting on that feedback?
We've sent some initial invitations out to parents. We are waiting on some final scores here at the end of the year from our end of the year assessments and end of grade assessments to determine exact numbers. We certainly will be doing as small class sizes as we can, but want to make sure that we have the staff to cover our students.
Okay. In the high school daily schedule and activities, how would they look like?
So high school's a little bit different. At the high school level, we are providing instruction in our EOC courses, so in Math 1, Math 3, Biology, and English 2. We're also offering some elective courses like Career Management, Spanish 1 and 2, Health and PE. And then we offer our credit recovery, which we offer every summer. So students who have failed a course throughout the school year have the opportunity to come in the summer and work through some online modules and get that credit back so that they are still on that path to graduation. So their schedule is broken into 2 half-day sessions. So students can come in the morning or they can come in the afternoon, depending on what best fits their schedule. If they need transportation to and from, then they would come at the beginning of the day and they would stay to the end of the day. So they would get to participate in both morning and afternoon sessions.
And part of our requirement was creating a plan that we had to submit to the folks in Raleigh at DPI. And we've gone through that and we've gotten feedback, I think, in the last day or 2. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We got information that we were approved with our plan and that we're good to go for Camp Caldwell.
All right. There's a social and emotional component that is big on our list of priorities every time we talk about issues and needs that we are aware of, probably now more than ever. It certainly will have a place in this activity that we have that we're calling Camp Caldwell as well, correct?
Yes, sir. So we have weaved social emotional learning. It is weaved into the curriculum that we're offering. Certainly in reading, we're doing some check-ins in the morning, some time in the afternoon, depending on the grade levels. We also have employed some student services staff, so we'll have some counselors and social workers available if students were to need them this summer, as well as school nurses available to help.
And I said earlier that participation is voluntary. Do you want to stress to our viewers, while it's voluntary, we seriously want them to consider participating?
Yes, so Camp Caldwell is here to help our students fill in those gaps and have the best foundation they have moving into the next grade level for 2021-2022. And so while it is voluntary, we do encourage students and families that if they meet their criteria to attend, we certainly want them there to help fill in those gaps from the last year and a half.
And there's a mandated assessment piece. You want to talk about that briefly?
Yes, sir. So what we are going to do, we have to do based on the legislation with House Bill 82, there has to be a pre-assessment and a post-assessment to gauge how effective summer school was. So for the beginning or the pre-assessment, we are allowed to use the end-of-year assessment. So we're not going to make students take an additional test when they start camp. So we're going to use their end-of-the-year scores. And so at the end of camp, the last day or two, we'll assess them again through the same program that they did at the end of the year.
And that will help all of our students wrapping up the school year, but it also helps them going into next school year
Yes,
as well.
so any data from those assessments will be passed on to their teachers for the upcoming year, so they'll know exactly where those students are going into next school year.
Is there any other detail or information you want to share on Camp Caldwell that we didn't touch on?
No, I just encourage parents, families to send your students to camp. If you have questions, reach out to us. Reach out to your school principal, reach out to the site administrators. We're here to help, and we want to do what we can to help your student.
Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you.
I want to wrap up with an announcement on Caldwell Online. We have talked about a virtual academy, an online program for a couple years, and COVID kind of thrust us forward more quickly than we really expected to be, where we expected to be at this point, but we're settling back down into more of a normal place, and we know that there'll be an evolution of this program. And I wanted to share that the district's new virtual online learning platform for middle and high school students only. There's eligibility requirements that need to be met, including passing grades, good attendance, and necessary resources to participate. This is a year-long commitment. To apply, students go to the online application at caldwellschools.com. Again, caldwellschools.com. The application window is opened until May the 28th, 2021, and parents will be notified of their students' application status in June. Information sessions for Caldwell Online will be via Zoom. We had one last night. We have another one on May the 18th at 6 p.m., and we encourage you to participate. If you have questions for additional information, you can email Caldwell Online at caldwellschools.com, or you can call 828-728-8407, extension 140115. Again, thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you next month.